Sheeples. This is the.
Hello, people. And well, I mean, you guys know me as the guy who has no name, but this time, before we get to that, we have someone very special joining us on this podcast.
We got a listener.
Yeah, we actually
Who's
have a
also
listener.
a co-contributor this time.
And to introduce her to you guys, or well, rather you sheeples, I keep forgetting
Yes.
that. I really
Hey,
need
no,
to learn.
let her introduce herself. Hey, go
Yeah.
on. Come on, jump right
Yeah. You need to introduce yourself, actually. Let's go. Let's do that.
in.
Hey, Sheeples. I'm Varshini. Just here to talk about a few things I think is important to talk about right now.
Yes, we do need to
Definitely.
have a conversation. The COVID-19 thing isn't the only thing we have to talk about. Apparently, this
Yeah.
country's found even more depressing topic to get itself involved in.
I think this country had this topic
Going on for a while.
going on for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then it just keeps like it's like this topic is like this huge whale, okay? It just like surfaces every once in a while, and then everyone just pushes it down. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go down, and then it just goes down, and then it comes back up, and we're like, why do we not talk about it all the time? But
Yeah,
no,
it should be a constant conversation. It should be a constant
Yeah.
improvement to betterment. But
100%.
that's not happening.
100%.
And just to brief you all on this topic, the thing that we are going to talk about today is how women are being treated in our country in general, especially like with the boys' locker room thing coming into light, and how
Guess by
these
the accents already we are Indians. So hi, hello
Yeah.
from India. Hello, and I am not shaking my head as I say this. So,
yeah, shake it from side to side. The Indian nod, dude, it
I am
has to
not
be there.
I am not Rajesh Kutrapali. I am not one of those. I'm just saying hello. But we are from India, and yes, definitely around the world, women aren't treated the way they're supposed to. But in India right now, we've had this issue called the Boys Locker Room. And if you've read this title, you already know what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
And go on. What were you saying?
Okay, so for the uninitiated though, I think so.
Wait, sorry,
Here's the thing.
what was your nickname for this episode?
You know what, Varshini, why don't you give me a nickname for this one? Because this whole episode is for you and about like women. So
way to add the pressure, dude.
Yeah, thanks.
You know what? It removes the pressure from me to think of a name right now.
Oh, smart.
Ayushman, you can't do that.
I got my. It's okay. Okay, cool. Let it be. I'll have my real name out for this one today. It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
I think I'm okay with that.
I'm not the only one
that
hiding
just
under the
came out.
shadow.
Yeah, that's fine. Just to say that I've known Varshini for a while. It's been like I think we got to know each other through like these digital marketing classes we used to go to, and basically that's how like I've known her, and that's why it came out. My name came out because she knows me well, so she's not used to the nickname thing.
But IIT, I mean, like brand plugin, right there. But
brand plugin. Cool. Okay, now people know where we went as well. Great.
Yeah.
Everyone's piecing your digital footprints together. Okay,
Dude,
wait,
now he has to pay you royalty and shit.
Yeah,
I swear.
You must not spot is not happening anymore. But okay, back to Varshini.
But yeah, back to the topic at hand. You know what? I think boys' locker room in its own way should be something that I think Varshini you should talk about more, because this is something you've been facing. But to begin with, there was this group of boys, mainly located in Delhi, who made an Instagram group where they used to kind of share photos of girls and younger girls or something, and basically they commented on them. But commenting is one thing. They started giving rape threats, like talking about how they felt like they wanted to rape these girls, and it was just such a demeaning chat. Not even like, one thing is objectifying, I mean, as bad as it is, then you go to rape, and it just gets worse. And I think this is just despicable behavior from anyone, and especially like when the fact that people start talking about, oh, it's just these guys and not everyone is like that. Like, we know, girls know that not everybody is not like, it's not everyone. But you know what, in this situation we aren't helping the conversation. We are kind of trying to make it like die down, and that's not what we need to do.
All men are not the same, bro. Don't generalize.
That line just
Oh
like
my God.
pisses me off. Oh my
Right.
God.
Please tell us why the hashtag not all men is so silly. Like,
Yeah.
just tell us why.
Okay, the
Yeah.
thing is, we know not all men, but the problem is enough men. There are enough men that it's happened to all women,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the problem. Because like it's not that we don't know that not all men are like this, but at some point I feel like even the good ones, right, kind of either detach from this conversation or just ignore what's happening because they don't want to like get involved unless it happens to someone they know. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing that a lot of times happen to me specifically, personally. And I
Oh,
really feel that at some point that, you know, like no matter how much women fight for, if this if this fight is not from both sides, it's not going to work.
And that's the main thing, right? We need to work together to kind of make this safe, like safer space for everyone. It's not just like the fact that oh, the women are fighting and that's good, they're raising their voices, but if the other people don't do that, don't help them, don't push that voice ahead, then
Yeah.
there won't be any change. And that's the worst part, right? And that's what we want to try to do as well. That's why we wanted to do this topic, because if we can't show support, then what's the point? Like the whole protest is for no reason. Like just every time this happens, people raise their voice and then it dies down.
Yeah, it just dies
that's
down,
that's
and
not
then
fair.
yeah, and then it's not, again, like we were talking about, it's not it should be a constant conversation. It should
yes,
keep
ongoing. It has to.
yeah, it should, yeah. And so at some point, and there should be progress. You can't keep going every time something happens, you take one step ahead and then go four steps back.
Mm-hmm. And I
And
mean, I've seen you be really active about it as well. And like, so here's my question to you: like, what was the first thing when you saw this news pop up? What was your first reaction, and what was it that you wanted to like? What did you feel throughout this process?
so honestly, I was very, very livid. I was very angry. I was very pissed, but also I wasn't surprised because this has happened so many times before to people I know, to me. So I wasn't surprised. I was like, oh, this is just another chat because I know there are other chats that exist like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I first saw it, I was like, oh my god, when is this going to stop? When is this going to change? And I was extremely triggered because and not just me, okay, most women were triggered, almost all women I know were triggered because it's happened to them at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the problem, and that's what we are fighting against, that it keeps happening, it keeps happening, but nothing is changing. Like you said, it goes on for like a minute and then it dies down.
And like in general, we've seen a lot, like especially on Twitter, right? Like people become so vocal, but then there's that other vocal minority of like I guess, I don't know, men, or rather not just men, like people in general who don't understand the topic and just are like, no, you can't just see it like this. You have to, like, it's not the time to be, explaining something to the person who's feeling in a way, or in a particular way, about something that's so despicable. Rather, you need to like understand the points and not like fight against it, but rather, push the agenda. And when
Yeah.
we see like other women also at times put the whole situation down, it kind of makes us also feel like, is it like, is not everyone feeling the same? Is it like, is it an issue people are not like able to come together for it? Even within like women in general, you see so many people talk about not all men, and it's a bit weird to see that in general.
You
Like,
know,
if
Yeah,
what,
because
what really breaks my heart is when Varshini said that I was livid and then
hmm
I wasn't. And that just sort of like broke the silence because it made me realize of how recurring this issue is. I
yeah.
mean, of course, awesome. We're all talking about it right now. It's doing the news cycles, it's grabbing eyeballs. But the fact that this happens to women on, I mean, this just made me realize that this probably happens to women on an everyday basis. And it might sound like I'm being pretty naive over here, but you don't want to believe that men can actually do that. And
yeah,
in when I say men, if you're getting triggered, I'm sorry, but trust me, this isn't personal. I'm really referring out to the people who are guilty. And if you're getting triggered, then you should ask yourself that if you aren't guilty, why you're getting triggered. But the
Yeah.
fact that this goes on an everyday basis is just really heartbreaking. Also, that I'm hearing the word livid after the first Harry Potter book, so it's nice to hear that thing.
No,
What
you guys
a
must do a episode on HP. Come on.
Oh yeah,
man.
it's come. It's in the work. I think this is like three episodes
Bubbling
in a
like,
row.
ah.
We've stopped 3 episodes in a row. We have mentioned like we want to do
Yeah, it's
this.
like build, like
Yeah.
it's like the biggest build up. Like